We're good? Okay, so I guess we'll start with what your name is, who you are, what's your background in medicine, chiropractic, all of that.
Yeah. So my name is Dr. Patrick Vickers. I'm director and founder of Northern Baja Gerson Center in Rosarito, Mexico. And I've been a chiropractor now for 25 years, and I've been doing the Gerson therapy for 25 years. And ever since I was 11 years old, I wanted to be a chiropractor. A friend of our family's was a chiropractor, and they were staying at our home for the weekend. And their 5-year-old boy was sleeping in my room with me one night when he woke up at like 3 a.m. with a cough that wouldn't stop. He literally coughed for like 20, 30 minutes straight. Finally, it was 3 a.m. His father finally heard him, came upstairs, lied him on the end of the bed, and readjusted the vertebrae in his neck, both sides, and immediately he stopped coughing. And I was 11 years old, and I knew at that moment, I said, that is what I'm going to do. It was really at that moment that I saw the body's incredible capacity to heal itself when you give it what it needs. And lo and behold, I'm a year away from graduating chiropractic college when a woman by the name of Charlotte Gerson came and spoke at my school about her father's therapy called the Gerson therapy. Nobel Peace Prize winner Dr. Albert Schweitzer, he called Dr. Max Gerson the greatest genius in medical history. Between 1910 and 1959, when Dr. Gerson died, he was reversing virtually every single degenerative disease, most notably advanced terminal cancer, using his all-natural therapy called the Gerson therapy, which he discovered while he was a student suffering from severe migraine headaches, which he completely cured himself with. So the Gerson therapy is an all-natural therapy designed to boost up the body's own immune system so that it can destroy whatever disease it's suffering with. There is not a more potent force in the universe than the human body in its ability to reverse advanced disease. Drugs, chemotherapy, radiation, you name it, those things do not and cannot permanently reverse disease. And that's why you constantly see people, if they're not dying from those treatments, after they've received those treatments, within 2 to 7 years, their cancers are returning. That's the typical story that comes into my clinic. So upon graduating from chiropractic school, Charlotte Gerson came and invited me to live with her, where I spent 2 months going through all her father's handwritten files that he had between 1910 and 1959 of all his active patients, which she had in her garage in San Diego, where she lived at the time. So that's what I do. I have a clinic in Mexico where we're successfully reversing these diseases using Dr. Gerson's incredible treatment. And when Nobel Prize winner Albert Schweitzer called him the most eminent genius in medical history back in 1959, we're 60 years removed from that. And he remains the most eminent genius in medical history. To this day, nobody has been able to achieve the consistent ability to reverse advanced terminal cancer, let alone all the other diseases. I mean, diabetes, heart disease, those things are simple. Cancer is the difficult thing to reverse. So that's what we do. We are reversing these diseases. Do we cure everyone? No, we don't. You know, some people come to us, they just have so many complications. They're so far advanced that, you know, we just can't help them. But the best chance that anyone has to cure any disease always lies in the foundations of the Gerson therapy.
Why don't you give a little, just a bit of what the Gerson therapy is?
Yeah, so it's a multi-pronged approach to treating disease, but first and foremost, it's a radical dietary and lifestyle change. I mean, it's no mystery. There's absolutely no mystery to disease. The causes of the disease and the cure for the disease. There's no mystery. In 1900, they say 1 out of every 60, some say 1 out of every 100 people got cancer. Today, it's 1 out of every 3 going on 1 out of every 2. Now, the medical profession wants you to believe that's genetics. Well, I'd hate to tell you, but just based on evolutionary theory alone, we know how long it takes for genetics to make those kind of a changes over a 100-year period. I mean, come on. The issue's not genetic. What's happened between 1900 and now? It's simple. Look all around you. Look at how our society has changed and the rapid development of all the things that we've belched into our air, our water, our food, the toxicity in our lives, the stress, our relationships. Between 1900 and now, you've just seen a massive, increase in the continuance of the Industrial Revolution. And we have utterly destroyed the human organism because of it. Not to mention the planet, right? I mean, and our bodies are really a reflection and an extension of what's going on the planet today. So first and foremost, if you're going to reverse any disease, you have got to bombard the body with pure, raw, organic nutrition. Because what are we eating today? We're eating fast foods, processed foods, white sugar, white flour, white rice, cookies, cake, ice cream, you name it, refined alcohols, fats, meats, oils. We're destroying our bodies. We're depleting it severely of the nutrition it needs to rally a proper immune system and certainly maintain a healthy one. So the Gerson therapy gives you 20 pounds of organic fruits and vegetables every single day. And that's mostly in the form of juices, right? Well, when you give these fruits and vegetables in the form of juices, and you're getting 3 cooked meals a day, as you know, because you've been at our clinic, you have to detoxify the body as well, because not only are the patients coming to you so incredibly toxic from a lifestyle of toxicity, but then you're introducing these foods that are breaking down diseased tissue, rebuilding new tissue. The tumors themselves or the disease processes themselves also have toxic byproducts associated with them. So you have to detoxify the human body. And as you know, the way we do that is the coffee enema. There is not a more potent way to detoxify the human body than a coffee enema, which detoxifies the liver. Your liver produces an enzyme called glutathione transferase, which is the most potent detoxifying enzyme in the human body. Well, your liver uses palmitic acid to create glutathione transferase. Well, properly roasted, properly organic, and a specific type of a coffee bean, not one that you would be more accustomed to drinking, is loaded with palmitic acid. And it's been demonstrated that when you do 1 coffee enema, the production of glutathione transferase goes up 600 to 700% greater than normal. That's indisputable. So you've got the organic juices, the 20 pounds of organic fruits and vegetables. And if it's not organic, we cannot cure it. We cannot cure people on conventional produce. And so with organic, the coffee enemas to detoxify the human body, that is the principle of the Gerson therapy. And so the other final portion of the therapy are very specific supplements. And those supplements are geared toward one thing and one thing only: the production of energy on a cellular level, which is ultimately the secret of the Gerson therapy, creating energy on a cellular level. When you see someone who's sick and or dying, what's one of the first things you notice? They're lethargic. Why are they lethargic? They've lost the capacity to produce energy on a cellular level. How do you do that? Oxygen and sugar, but from fruits and vegetables, right? So everything we do is based on creating the internal cellular environment so that the little organelles in your cell that convert food into energy, the mitochondria, can easily do that. We've destroyed the body's capacity to convert food into energy. That's why what's one of the precipitating factors that you hear behind cancer today? The link is obesity. The link between obesity and cancer is no mystery. Why? Because of the breakdown of metabolism. And the metabolism is defined as the breakdown of food into energy. So those 20 pounds of organic fruits and vegetable sugars that you're getting every single day, that's going towards the creation of energy on a cellular level to restore the proper metabolism, the proper energy production, so that the immune system can rally a proper response against the disease. And that is why historically the Gerson therapy is the most powerful therapy in the world to be able to reverse advanced disease. And that's why 7 movies have chronicled our work. No other therapy has that history of being able to reverse advanced disease. And it's these principles on how you restore the human body back to its former glory.
Now, I'm not sure if you're aware, but so Hildy, they help a lot of families that have young children that have cancer, to 1, 2, 3 years old. Is there any insight onto how that, I mean, how does that even happen? Like, how is it possible for this fresh little pure child to come into the world
And have cancer right away?
have cancer? Yeah. How?
Yeah, okay, that's a great point. You know, when Gerson was alive, remember, he died in 1959, right? Excuse me. He died in 1959. So we're 2 to 3 generations removed from when Dr. Gerson died. From 1910 to 1959, he didn't have to deal with nearly half the stuff that we're dealing with today in terms of chemicals, pesticides, artificial fertilizers in our food. He never had to deal with that, really. Chemo didn't even exist. And 99.9% of the drugs today that people are taking didn't even exist. So between then and now, constitutionally, every generation that's being born is constitutionally weaker than the generation before it. And there's no mystery why. Because what your generation, Taylor's been exposed to compared to mine, then compared to Gerson's, it's like night and day. So these young women are getting pregnant and their bodies constitutionally are so much weaker than the generation before that these children are being born with no immune systems whatsoever. And so that's why they're coming down with all these diseases. They say my son's generation, he's 20. They say his generation is the first generation that's not going to outlive their parents. And it may even be the generation before his, that they won't outlive their parents. And that's true. You know, you look at the median rate of at what age people die today compared to what it was, 50 years ago. And it's very deceptive. It hasn't changed much, but that's very, very deceptive. If you've ever taken a statistics class, there's something called, what do they call it? I forget exactly what it's called in statistics. But if a certain section of the population is dying in that median range, and then the outside of that range, they only take the 10% on either side of that range. And then everyone else they throw out, standard of deviation, it's called. So let's say the range is from 73 to 75, the average age range people live to, which is pathetic because the human body was created to live to 120 years. Norman Walker, the guy who developed the Norwalk juicer, right, that people use to make their juices on this program, along with the Pure Juicer, he lived to be 117 years old and he died chopping wood. So the human body was designed to live much longer than 73 to 75. So you take those people who are living 73 to 75, and then they'll put into that statistic those who have lived 10% on either side of that. So to 80 down to 65. Anyone else outside of those ranges gets thrown out because of the standards of deviation. Do you know how many people are coming into my clinic between 20 and 65 years old that are dying of these diseases? The standard age that comes into my clinic is about 50 to 55 now. Why? Because the human body can only take about 5 decades of the onslaught that we're giving it before it completely breaks down, which is cancer. Cancer is the ultimate degeneration of the human organism. If you've got cancer, whether it's stage 0 or stage 4, that is the ultimate breakdown of the human organism. So all those people who are dying today from these degenerative diseases from 65 and younger, they don't get thrown into those statistics. If we were truly using all of those numbers in the statistics, rest assured that we're not living from 73 to 75. The average age is somewhere around 55 to 60. You can rest assured of that. So the standard deviation of statistics is very, very deceptive. And so these young children, they're being born constitutionally so weak. And then you're feeding them the garbage that they're getting, right? The formulas and the processed foods. Is it any wonder that our children today are coming down with these horrific, aggressive cancers? And they're aggressive because the younger someone is, the more aggressive the cancer is, because their cellular turnover is more rapid than someone who's 60, 70, 80 years old, right? So that's the reason. Now, getting back to the comment that you said that we're helping children, it's hard to put a child that's 4 years or 5 years and younger on the Gerson therapy for many reasons. 1, compliance. 2, to get them to do the coffee enemas, right? But you have a greater issue here at hand. Do you know that up until a child is 18 years old, they're not your child? Do you know they're actually a product of the state and they are bound by the laws of the state? And do you know if you go to your oncologist that diagnoses your child who's under 18 with cancer, and you tell that oncologist, I'm not really interested in doing chemotherapy and radiation. I'd really like to go natural and do the Gerson therapy on my child. Do you know what happens? Within 30 minutes, social services is in that oncologist's office, and they take your child, and that child is forced to do chemotherapy and radiation. That's the law. It is illegal in the United States to do what I do for the treatment of cancer and advanced diseases. Why is it in Mexico? So that we can circumvent those laws. The pharmaceutical industry controls our politicians. They control everything. They've gotten our politicians to pass laws making the Gerson therapy illegal and any other natural treatment illegal for the treatment of cancer. And by law, any child 18 years and under must do chemotherapy and radiation by law, or you go to jail. And that child gets confiscated by social services. How many times have you seen a story come out in the media where a family didn't want to do conventional medicine on their child who had cancer, and they were forced to in the end? So that's the unfortunate, sad reality behind treating children today naturally.
I can't even believe that is a law. I don't even understand like how they can force you to make your child inject those chemicals into their body.
That's the law. It's even the law. It's even a law if I were to treat an adult. If I open my clinic in the United States, it gets shut down and I go to jail. It's that simple. And it's because the pharmaceutical industry controls our politicians.
They own
It's a
it.
$1 trillion per year industry. It's 20% of the American GDP. Could you imagine? And we can obliterate it. We could virtually obliterate it with what we do. So can you imagine the threat we are to that system?
Right.
It's a huge system.
Wow.
And it's a behemoth.
Wow.
So the fact remains, we are reversing virtually every single degenerative disease naturally without the use of drugs. And so imagine the implications of that for the system that's in place. They say, what is it? I think they say 20% to 25% of the American public is somehow employed in the medical industry. You can see the reason why.
Where would you send people for information?
I'm sorry?
Where would you send people for information on your clinic, on natural resources?
Yeah. So our clinic, simple, www.gersonclinic.com. Gerson is Gerson, gersonclinic.com. You can always reach me at director@gersonclinic.com. And, just a simple research of the Gerson therapy online, you're going to have to dig deep, because when you research Gerson online, whose entries do you think pop up first? Because they're paying for that, right? It's the medical industry, the American Cancer Society. And what are they going to tell you? They're going to tell you emphatically the Gerson therapy has never cured one case of cancer ever. Well, of course, we know that's an abject lie, but they're putting that information out there, and they have the money to pay for that positioning on an SEO search. So when you type in Gerson therapy, that's what you're going to see. But you go down lower, and that's where you'll find the truth, right? So anyway, do your research and dig deep, and don't believe what the TV's telling you, because who's paying for the television ads every night, all night, every night, almost every single commercial? What is it? It's a pharmaceutical ad. So do you think the major media is going to be telling you about the Gerson therapy? If you're an editor of any major media outlet, your sole fiscal responsibility is to promote the financial interests of your organization. It has absolutely nothing to do with giving you or I the truth. And so don't believe what's on that TV, on the radio, in the newspapers, in the magazines, because it's designed to promote one thing and one thing only, and that's conventional medicine. So if there's anything I can say to a listener, do your research beyond those avenues. And you start going down those rabbit holes, and that's where you'll find the truth.
Right. Okay. And what kind of words of encouragement or support would you send to those that are battling or have a family member that is battling?
There's always hope, right? And it's real hope. But I can tell you, chemotherapy and radiation is not the answer. You can't heal a sick, toxic body with even greater poison. And we know that what are the foundations of chemotherapy? Mustard gas. Those are the chemical foundations of chemotherapy, mustard gas, which they use in biological warfare to kill people. That is its chemical structure. The way you heal the human body is you begin to bombard it with the nutrition that it hasn't been getting for the last 2, 3, 4, and 5 decades. And you begin cleansing it from the poisons that it has been exposed to, whether it's been in our air, our water, our environment, our food. You reverse the disease by addressing the things that caused it in the first place, which we talked about earlier. It's not genetics. Trust me. Genetics has nothing to do with disease today. But people will say, well, my mother got it, and my grandma got it, and my aunt got it, and my great grandma got it. That has nothing to do with genetics. What runs in families, habits, lifestyles, diets, environmental exposure, because typically you're living in the same area, right? The same stresses of life, the same relationship issues. These are the things that compound the possibility or the likelihood of getting it because a family member got it, not because it's genetic in your system, in your DNA. That's not it. So for families suffering with this disease, you do not heal it by poisoning it. You heal it by restoring the body back to what it was originally designed to take in. And that's pure organic nutrition and a detoxification regimen to get out all the poisons that it's accumulated over a lifetime. But there is hope, and it's real hope. I would watch the 7 movies on our work. The Gerson Miracle won Best Film at the 2004 Beverly Hills Film Festival. Dying to Have Known, which personally is the best one. That's the sequel to the Gerson Miracle. Then you have The Beautiful Truth, which actually has one of my patients in it. Then you have Food Matters. Food Matters is an epic documentary that exposes how historically the Gerson therapy is the most effective therapy to be able to reverse these diseases. There's The Truth About Cancer, A Global Quest, which I'm in episodes 1 and 8 of that documentary. Then you have The Food Cure. So you have all these documentaries out there with cured patients in them, with the records showing before and after that they were terminal and now they're cured. Seek out those movies, watch them. They're the only thing that you're going to be able to see in any media outlet proving our ability to reverse disease.
All right. Thank you so much. Hildy, do you have any questions?
No,
Oh, you muted. Oh,
sorry. I just want to say thank you for your time, and thank you for taking the time from your busy schedule to be able to educate people. And I think education's power, and whatever, everyone goes through their own healing process, and whatever that looks like for them and their families, I think is important to have as much education for everyone.
That's right.
So thank you very much.
My pleasure.
yeah, thank you. I appreciate you taking the time to do this. It looks like you're in a hotel.
I am actually in Nevada.
Are you? Okay.
Visiting a friend. That's right.
Nice. Very nice.
So,
No Washington this trip.
No, Florida to see my mother, then off to Washington to the farm.
Back to the farm.
Back to the farm.
Washington's my favorite state, by the way.
Oh yeah,
so.
I'm in Northeast Washington. I'm in Northeast Washington near the Canadian border. So.
Oh, that's
stunning.
beautiful. Oh yeah. I'm in Utah. We have Red Rock. We're beautiful, but I'm from the Caribbean, so we like the ocean. I'm like an ocean person. I need the sea.
Yeah.
So
anyway, anything I can do, any questions I can answer, anything you need from me, just let me know.
Okay, and we'll share the information with you if you want to share it with anyone that wants to tune in or check it out just for fun or for whatever, then I'll make sure to send you the links and the flyer and all of that info. Maybe one of these days we can put our own documentary together.
Hey, absolutely. I was actually in the process of trying to put something like that together before the pandemic hit. So once everything gets back to normal, if that's ever the case.
I mean, we've got the studio. We can use that for some stuff. We could figure out something. That'd be amazing.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Okay,
right,
Taylor.
Thanks,
Nice seeing you.
Yeah, nice to see you too. I'll keep you posted on Mom.
Yeah.
I think it's just a delicate, there's just that fine line with the Crohn's and it's figuring out what her body can ingest that is, per Gerson, that also is digestible per the Crohn's. And we're just going to have to ebb and flow with it and stay positive and keep chipping away. I mean, last time I talked to her, she was adamant on getting a Chili's cheeseburger. And I was like, you should not have a Chili's cheeseburger.
That's the battle with all patients. That's the battle with us, right? I mean, we know what we should be doing. It's what we've been addicted to. I mean, this world has, you know, caused these food addictions. Food is an addiction today. I crave a burger all the time.
Right.
So she's not the only one. So,
Yeah.
but she was doing great, you know, and so we just need to get her through, you know, through this little crisis that she's going through.
Yeah, get her past the hump. Because I mean, just in the 1-2 weeks that I was there, her color,
Amazing.
her energy, her strength, it was like
Amazing.
Hey, yeah.
And so I think her body went into a healing reaction. And when it went into the healing reaction, it had to deal with, you know, those other underlying issues. And that's
Right.
probably that fine line that you know, you mentioned.
Right.
So
We'll get there. We'll figure it out.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Taylor.
Well, it was an honor meeting you.
Thank you, Hildegard.
So thank you for what you do. So.
Muy bien. Muchas gracias. Ten un buen día.
Igualmente. Cuídese. I adore you, Taylor. You're wonderful. So,
I love you
you.
too, Hildy.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Guys, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Adios.
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 Cuídese. All right, Sissy.